That's good. Welcome to this interview. As you know, nothing scripted, nothing planned. I'm just joined here by Leon and Yannick, two of my students who are doing very well, and I think they're very cool. So I think it would be cool for everyone to just like have a little chat here with Leon and Yannick to just learn a little bit more about them and their story and where they're heading and where they're at now. So yeah, boys, short introduction from me. I think you can do it a bit better yourselves.
Go ahead, Yannick.
Well, okay, yeah. So we, like Leon and I, we met each other during our studies. We both studied business psychology, and the whole time basically we were like really into like entrepreneurial stuff. Also because of like the studies, also into the whole startup space, and we always had this talk about like nice businesses and like, oh, this business model is so sick, and yeah, let's think about like how can we also do something. And yeah, that's like basically how we met each other. Had like day in day out all these talks, and well, then at some point like we thought, okay, let's like really take it serious and like start something, which wasn't that easy. And then like at some point we just decided to start this agency. Like I think there's a bit more to the story of like how we eventually came to start an agency, but
Yeah,
it's basically like, to give it a short introduction, like how I met Leon, and then like also how we came together and met Frederick.
that's cool. And I think, yeah, you mentioned you boys obviously run an agency. Like Leon, what do you do in your agency?
So we basically partner up with coaches. So like
Yep.
we are in the info product space, especially or like our niche is currently weight loss coaches or coaches in the fitness, health, performance industry, primarily women at the moment. And yeah, our offer is basically full stack. So as I said, we just partner up with them and scale them from their current situation to their desired situation. Can be anything from 5 to 10K starting point to 30, 40K, or even from 20 to 30 right now to 6 figures per month. So yeah, this is what we do. Yeah.
Stuff. Can you explain like full stack a little bit more? Let's say that I was a weight loss coach, like, and I was struggling with scaling. What would you guys like help me with?
So we basically implement our acquisition infrastructure. To give you a pretty good example, we always start with organic content and ads, just to get predictable traffic to your page, predictable eyeballs to your offer, however you want to name it. And then we just nurture the people with the organic content, but also with some cases long-form content, just to warm up the audience. And then we have the typical app setting funnel, or we have app setters who then contact every lead or who contact the persons, and then just get them on a call and close them on the call. And before we implement this infrastructure, we always work on their individual positioning, framing, on their offer, and just fix some things before we implement this growth infrastructure into their business.
Maybe also like to add to that, like I think when we started out, we thought about just doing content, but then we realized that we like did some market research, talked to a few coaches, that the actual problem is that they want to sign new clients, and they think they need followers for that. They think they need good content, but it's actually not what solved the whole problem. So what we did, as Leon said, implement all mechanisms that are needed. We have some mechanisms to like generate traffic and attention, but then also to nurture people, and then also to convert them and get them into a sales call. So we basically have this like whole mechanisms or acquisition infrastructure that we implement at our clients' business in order to help them actually get clients, and also then like have the result of growing their business.
100%. And it's very true, right? You realize that people will mainly justify their buying decision whether to invest in you boys in terms of like what it will be the revenue generating part here. You know, if you boys only offered content, then the client would have to believe in content to be the thing that would take them to their goal. Whereas now you of course also offer content, but what you at the end of the day just do is that you offer a proven solution, right? Because you take the traffic, you nurture it, and you convert it into what the client needs, which is sales calls and revenue. So I think it's sick, like seeing your transition, because obviously I've been a part of it. So I've like seen the journey from like picking the niche and like tweaking the offer. And then I think the coolest thing for you boys was that you like really nailed it and got a few good case studies. And then you just grabbed it, kind of like the opportunity, and then just like scale, you know? So I think that's dope. And speaking of case studies, like what kind of people do you work with now and how's it going? And yeah, just give me a rundown.
Yeah, so we basically started with fitness coaches. This was our first niche. Then we signed some clients. Was a bit tough at the beginning because I guess for most of the people starting out with something, it's pretty hard to get insane results with people who are like seeking a quick fix, or people who are just broke, let's say broke, because they can't invest in ads, they can't pay you accordingly, means they are also less committed than people paying more. But yeah, that's another thing. And then we opened up a bit, also worked with mindset coaches from other niches. But then we signed two very good clients, one in May and one in July. And these clients were our yeah, let's say hero cases, however you want to name it, because we basically just doubled, and for the other girl, we also tripled her current revenue within 2 months, and also not only the revenue, also in terms of following and stuff. We just doubled her followers in 2 months, and built up her audience, or still building up her audience. And yeah, with this conviction, this case studies, we are now able to attract even better clients, and like people who are actually running a business. Speaking about bigger numbers. So yeah, at the beginning it was tough, was hard.
I think like also what's funny, like in hindsight, like how we started out with fitness coaching niche sort of, because we thought, okay, let's start with one niche. Then we got into that and felt like, hey, there are like some problems. And then because, for example, fitness coaching niche, you have like the sort of problem, that's the name of the problem, that the ticket sizes the clients are selling their offer, the fitness coaching offer, isn't that high as, for example, for business coaching or a mindset coaching or any like other niche. Also, these are more like solopreneurs, or people with a small team, and not like these big corporate who have like a budget, okay, 20K for some content and social media, whatever, I do it. So you like start thinking about, okay, why don't we go to somewhere else? And then eventually we decided to go abroad on like all coaches. But then eventually we figured out, because that was where also the clients we worked the longest with figured out like how we can solve all these challenges, and figured eventually also out that in all other niches there are like just other problems. So now we are actually sort of pivoting back towards fitness coaching, or to put it even more precise, towards like weight loss coaches, because we just like put in the effort and the time and the thinking behind it, work with several ones, and now have like the experience, the data, the knowledge, and know exactly what we need to do to transform people who are doing 4 to 5K per month revenue, and like help them to get to 15, 20, or even like 30, 40,000 euros of revenue monthly.
And I think that's sick, right? Because that is, at the end of the day, that is your goal as an agency. It's like to kind of like find your way with like working with different people, and then finding like a service and like a framework that works for a certain group of people in terms of what they're selling to what kind of people, and then just duplicate it, you know? Because, for example, you doubling and tripling revenue for like a weight loss women's coach, like the same framework that will double a business from 5 to 10K would typically also double it when we're talking like 15, 20K, all the way up to 30, 40K. Because at the end of the day, it's just more volume into the same system that has proven to work for you guys. Of course, there will be some other bottlenecks when scaling, and especially when you go towards 6 figures a month, right? But it is just, as you both said, like it's a struggle in the beginning, because you don't have any case studies, you don't have much conviction and knowledge, and it's so hard to convince like these good clients, hey, pick us, you know. But I think like you've nailed it. The fact that like you got an opportunity with these weight loss coaches and some businesses with like decent foundations that trusted you. You like seized it, and then now you have the framework. Now you can like start scaling and charging higher rev shares and charging higher retainers up front. So I think it's dope. What would your best advice be to like a weight loss coach that is struggling to scale their business?
Partner with us, of course. No, but like I think generally things that aren't probably in place is like the conversion mechanisms. I don't know, like all of them are doing content to some extent. Sure, there can be some improvements, but the magic pill they're often searching for is like having more followers and this insane level of attention, like all these influencers in the fitness niche and health niche have. And that's actually not what they need. I think what's way more important is to have like their current attention being converted into like having sales meetings and having clients who they can serve. So I think like really implementing some sort of funnels, call to actions, doing like the whole appointment setting structure, like all the good stuff we are doing basically.
Good stuff. Anything you want to add, Leon?
Yeah, for me, it's like everything Yannick said, but also I think one major bottleneck they are lacking is, of course, conversion mechanisms, but also getting in like predictable traffic with the right people. So like they often lack an acquisition channel with their ICP coming into their own world, however you want to name it. So I guess the combination of this, just some predictable form of attention or like eyeballs on your offer, and then conversion mechanisms to get meetings or to, let's say, I don't know, get people filling in the type form on your landing page or stuff. Yeah.
Good stuff. And it makes good sense, right? Like coaches are really good at what they coach, but it just becomes a more complex business when you're around 5, 10, or 15K per month, you know, because you live off your passion and you share these tips for women who want to do weight loss and all of that, but you just need more if you want to like scale, because you need more data, you need to track your numbers, you need the predictable traffic, you need a conversion mechanism, and they just have no clue about that, right? Because they're really good at something else. So I think it's really cool that they can partner with you boys, and I also know that you do rev shares, and it's like it's a very no-brainer deal for most coaches to go ahead and sign with you, because at the end of the day, it's like proven results, and you have the cases and you have the system. Might as well just plug and play it, right? Good stuff. And how about like, let's say not coaches, but there'll probably also be some people watching this video that is not a coach, but maybe wanting to start a business. And obviously you guys, you had each other because you were like friends and you shared that passion for entrepreneurship and you talked a lot about it, and then you took the leap of faith. Like, what would you tell people that is like on the brink of the edge to like, should I start? Should I not? What business model? Do you have any tips there?
Like my personal experience or my biggest advice or tip is just it's like simple, or literally everyone says this. Of course, in hindsight, it's easy to say this, but I can at least speak for ourselves. I was pushing back then in the sales call. Okay, let's just take the risk. What is the worst thing that could happen to us? Like, we were in our exchange semester in Norway at this time, and at this moment I knew, okay, I just want to start something. And like in hindsight now, this was the best decision ever. Yeah. So like literally just take the risk, go for it, and yeah, don't stop working towards your goal. So it's pretty simple actually, because if you don't stop, you can't win, or you cannot lose basically if you just keep running and improve. Yeah.
True.
I think like I can like 100% agree. Like first of all, take the leap of faith and then like just stick to it and keep on running. And I think it's like so easy said, because like what Leon said,
Yeah.
I think it's quite funny to see. like, or when I like elaborate a bit on that, like to give some context, I've been like, as I said, the whole like during our whole studies, we talked about like all these different business models and interesting startups and how they disrupt some markets and I don't know, whatever. And then eventually I figured, okay, after like 2 years and like thinking about this whole stuff, I'm like stuck with looping thoughts in my brain and I'm like not executing on something. So I thought, okay, I said to myself that the deadline, okay, within like rest of the year, I think it was like something like August, I want to start a business and like no matter what, if I hadn't started a business, like no matter what I did, it wouldn't be a success at all the year. And even though like I had this set this harsh deadline and had like 2 years of like really thinking about it and hadn't started, I still like had such a hard time to start because then we were like being more concrete about okay, like at some point we figured out let's start this agency thing. It's super nice and okay, we like want to get some help on and advice on like how can we start it. So we I've been following you for like several months then, and then we said like, okay, let's have a chat, but also let's elaborate on other ideas. And I'm not sure if this is really going like, to work out. And then we were in the sales call with one of your closers, and also there I was like so unsure. And there's I think business is like growing. It's like correlated one-on-one with uncertainty basically like there will be so much uncertainty and if you don't reach basically a point where you are 100% certain that this thing will work like you won't reach that point. You just like have to do it and have to jump and have to take the leap basically. And then also like in the sales call, Leon was like, yeah, Yannick, I don't know, this sounds amazing, let's do it. And I was like, man, yeah, but what if? And I'm not sure. And I think we had like 30 minutes like talking and we're like, I know. And I was like, no, I want to think about it more. Like I want to think about it thoroughly and like really have this feeling of comfort where I feel like, okay, I'm comfortable taking this leap. But like this point, it just doesn't come. Like you just have to take the leap. And I think that's like the main advice. Like just jump, even if you don't feel ready to jump. I think that's like main essence of advice. And then once you started and took the leap of faith, just stick to it. And I think that's also like what really helped me there was like having the ability to have these weekly calls with other students, to have the community, to like have one-on-one calls actually, because yeah, sure, like the information it's valuable and to know like what you need to do, but as I said, like information can be also found outside and like YouTube, I don't know where, but like what's so enormously valuable is to stick to it and you actually execute on it. And I think that's like what really helps there is that you have like this sort of accountability through one-on-one calls, through like weekly calls and all this kind of stuff. And I think that was like in the end probably like the two things that really helped me. Yeah,
100%. I think it's cool with like the backstory because, as you both said, it's like it's so easy to just tell people just take the leap of faith, you know. But it is the most scary thing in the world, and I think both of you boys can also sign the papers and say that the uncertainty will like still be in your business. Like every time you take a new step, it's just uncertain, you know. But like the fact that you've had so many experiences where you were scared to jump and it was uncertain, but you did it either way, you realize it's not scary at all, and then you basically just build like a character that just thrives under circumstances that for many other people would be scary and uncertain and these kind of things, but you just become comfortable with it, you know. Just like you now, like you have scaled people to 30K a month, but it's like, okay, the next coach we bring on, how do we get them to 60, 70K? That's very uncertain. Is that will the same roadmap work? What is this, you know? But you're just like, hey, it worked out perfectly fine before. And also when we started, and also when we went to Norway to study, that was also fucking scary to leave our home. But hey, you just do it because you know it will be good, you know? So I think that's cool. And also just sticking to it. God damn it. Stick to it. Crazy important.
Yes.
Good stuff, boys. Is there anything that you want to add? I think it was a very good convo. I think it was cool to hear about your agency and what you do and the cases. And I'm very certain that you boys will just keep rolling because you're basically just over the hardest part, right? Getting the cases and getting the conviction and getting full-time on the business as well and these kind of things. So I think it's sick. Anything you want to add?
No, just adding one more thought to like the sales call and the prior joining the community thing. I guess I was the one who was the most skeptical before like speaking and before getting exposed to this, because SMMA, or it's not SMMA what we are doing, but this whole agency, just the word agency is so negatively connotated in this world right now that I wouldn't want to be an agency owner or a guy who's doing agency stuff or the business model. But in the end, it's just the model you are in, and you can also have other words for this. I don't know. You can also say growth operating to this or whatever. But yeah, just wanted to add this one, that the business model, especially for your first venture, for your first business, is just start actually.
True.
I mean, you need to start somewhere, and I guess an agency is a pretty nice business model to start with, because you're location free, and can just do it completely remote, basically. But
exactly.
Like really think so too. Like I had this talk with Leon as well, that like we definitely don't want to do some sort of business scammy stuff and like get rich quick. We like where like number one principle was, okay, we like, and I think in the end it's also like how economy works, like to deliver value and like actually solve problems. And that's what like we were searching for. And I think like agency, the agency model is like, yes, it's something like quite like hyped and like pops up everywhere, and like also sometimes in negative context. But in the end, it's like an amazing model to like really deliver great service and deliver some great value.
100%. That's good. And a good note to add, like with every market, there will always be bad quotations and also people that ruin the reputation for everyone else. But if you just have a really good product, then it's just more likely that you'll win, because it's just, at the end of the day, it's just a competitive market, right? The people with the best cases and the best product and the best service and the best deliverables will always get the most amount of clients. So it's just good to have that unlock in like you boys have, So if you're a weight loss woman, coach, ending up here and have watched the entire thing, so you know who to contact, and it's Leon and Yannick. Then they'll take your business through the roof. Yeah, boys, thank you so much. It's a good interview, and I think some good insights, and very honest, and it was cool to get like an inside view of your agency and how you run things.
Thanks a lot.
Stuff below the video, there's a link to Leon and Yannick's social profiles if you want to check out the boys. Especially Leon is good on the content side. Yannick is on the way, huh?
Hey man, you need to check out my profile.